final weight class for this year's women's freestyle. Bronze medal match number 1. It's the Ukraine and Mongolia. Popping out first for Mongolia, Batsig SORONZONBOLD. She is 29 years old. A pair of world titles to her name. She'll be looking to reach the podium another time in what's been a great career for Mongolia at SORONZONBOLD. Her opponent from Ukraine, maybe the hottest country in women's freestyle. At least one of the hottest, coming off that European Championship. They're loaded up and down the lineup. CHERKASOVA is one of their main threats at 68 kilos. SORONZONBOLD, Mongolia. Two-time world champion. CHERKASOVA, Ukraine. She entered the top seed. She was the reigning world and European champion. Trying to medal in her 13th consecutive tournament, dating back to 2016. Just an eye-popping statistic. Ukraine in the blue, Mongolia in the red. This is a bronze medal match at 68.
Both of the athletes out there right now with really heavy hands, strong collar ties. You saw SORONZONBOLD try earlier for a leg sweep. That didn't work. CHERKASOVA was able to get in. She looks like she's trying to go, has down by the legs. If she can bring that ankle closer to her hips, then she'll be able to sit her back on her haunches right there. And if she keeps working her hips towards her head, she'll be able to expose her back for 2, but it looks like they're gonna go out of bounds.
CHERKASOVA making her 5th appearance at these World Championships for Ukraine. She's turned 30 years old. Ukraine running away with the European title. Wrestlers such as CHERKASOVA, Lisak. List goes on and on among the different stars that they have. Shot by Ukraine, Mongolia trying to counter. Pretty good grip though on that left leg of Mongolia. I'm not sure she's going to be able to cut the corner. Well, she's a little bit better position, but that right leg is now the one that's pinched.
CHERKASOVA, what she needs to start, well, the whistle blew, so they're going to go back up.
How many times, and this is a broad question, but I always like to talk to wrestlers such as yourself who have competed at the highest of levels. How frustrating sometimes is it to hear that whistle when you're trying to get something generated and it's a little bit too quick?
You know, it depends on the position that you're in. If you're about to get scored on, you're hoping the whistle comes any moment. And if you're the person that's on the cusp of getting those points, you just want 1 or 2 more seconds, like showing them that you're really ready there.
Wrestlers keep it in. I was talking more about the offensive side of it. And, you know, very rarely will you see a wrestler look up and argue or anything like that. You don't have time in this sport. It's right back on your feet, you react. There's no looking back in that rear view mirror. This is a sport that is all moving forward, and you have 6 minutes to get your job done.
Both of the athletes right now, they're trying to go with those outside singles, but because they both have a very similar position with those underhooks, every time they were trying to go and move, they weren't able to clear the other person's arm, their opponent's arm. SORONZONBOLD, she has some really good defense. Her hips get really heavy. Every time that CHERKASOVA gets in there, she's able to get her weight down and get her hips square so that she's able to stop any momentum that CHERKASOVA has.
Hey. 3 minutes in the books and a 2-0 lead for Ukraine. That Setseg SORONZONBOLD with a long storied career, a two-time world champion. She was an Olympic bronze medalist back in the London Games in 2012. Her world titles 2010 and again in 2015. She was the first Mongolian woman actually to win a world gold medal. So we just saw a little bit of history with Kyrgyzstan, and Mongolia had that a few years back, that distinction for SORONZONBOLD.
CHERKASOVA, she's got some work to do. She's going to have to really go out there and clear the ties and get the angles that she wants so that she can get to her shots, get to her ties, get wrestling her style. Right now, SORONZONBOLD has been able to, for the most part, control the direction of this match.
The Mongolian has went up in weight. She had a lot of her success at 63 kilos when she was winning those world titles. A few years back, bumped up to 68. Starting this second period, trailing 2-0. 2-on-1 operating with Ukraine, and both wrestlers clear each other away. Looked like Mongolia might be going in for a second attack, but they quickly changed that line of thinking. So she's got control of the Ukrainians' right arm.
There
Look
she
at that
goes.
snap. Beautifully done. That's power right there by CHERKASOVA. But Mongolia comes right back at her. Terrific sequence. Legs are all curled up like a pretzel.
CHERKASOVA, she needs to start getting her weight out from underneath her and moving it down towards her ankle.
She's got that leg of the Mongolian pinched in there.
SORONZONBOLD needs to get her leg out and needs to get both of her arms underneath her opponent's arm so that she can get her hips free.
Even though there's no points, it's one of those scrambles. As a wrestling coach, you watch that, and that was pretty good. And I think on that last exchange, maybe a little bit of blood from CHERKASOVA. So they will allow a stoppage in the action with 1:37 to go. Apparently the referee spotted something on the mat. You see the nose is cut. So they're going to clean up the mat. They're going to clean up CHERKASOVA for this home stretch of bronze medal.
A little blood on the face is not unusual when you see two athletes like SORONZONBOLD and CHERKASOVA coming in with those hard collar ties. Their faces are hitting. There is definite force. They're both looking for their opportunities to score. Sometimes you get a little bloody. One of the hardest things to keep from bleeding is anything on your face, because you're so sweaty and the adhesive doesn't stick, so you're just hoping that that stays on.
And I would bet that does not stay on. We'll go into the record book saying I'm predicting that thing pops off in about 20 to 25 seconds. Did not look firmly attached. 2-0 CHERKASOVA, Ukraine with the lead. Halfway through the second and final period.
CHERKASOVA, I would love to see her bring that front headlock down to the mat.
Two wrestlers in a collar tie, center of the mat, CHERKASOVA. Those heavy hands that she likes to operate with. Slide by attempt there from Mongolia, but CHERKASOVA ready for that old trick. Now she comes in on a single, has the leg, it's deep.
SORONZONBOLD has such heavy hips, and she's making it so that CHERKASOVA is having a hard time coming out. She needs to start cutting around the corner and getting her hips out from underneath her so that she can start getting the leverage. But you can see right now, this is a scramble, and this is a battle. SORONZONBOLD comes out on top. It looks like she's going for a leg lace, trying to capitalize however she can. All of her shoulder pressure driving in to her rear.
A two-point move has given SORONZONBOLD the lead with the criteria. 2-2, so now Ukraine needs the offense in the closing 30 seconds. Does CHERKASOVA have enough in the tank? comes in firing, runs into a brick wall in those hips, though, of SORONZONBOLD. Comes right back in a second time. Defensive position by Mongolia.
She at least needs to start driving and getting her close to the outbound so she can get a point.
Not going to get it done. And the storied career of Batsetseg SORONZONBOLD continues. She has added another medal into that World Championship cabinet. An incredible run, an incredible career for the 29-year-old.
SORONZONBOLD had such good defense. Whenever CHERKASOVA was trying to get in on her shot, she had such a hard time clearing. And then when she did get in, SORONZONBOLD, her hips were so heavy that she immediately started stuffing her head and putting all of her